Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. It's been confirmed by Eddie Hearn that an agreement has been reached between Oleksandr Usyk and Carlos Takam to fight in May. So the potential date is May 17th. They may look to bring forward the fight night, which was originally meant to be on the 18th of May, one day, bring it forward and have a bit of clear air between that fight night and the one that would be between Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale on the 18th. But the pair have been confirmed they will be fighting each other. Potential venue may be in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena, and this will be on DAZN. So this is a fight actually that I like. I said after Oleksandr Usyk knocked out Tony Bellew at the end of last year, and a couple of videos at that point, that if Usyk was stepping up to heavyweight, that a couple of targets I thought were likely candidates to be good first fights at heavyweight to acclimate to the division were Alexander Povetkin and Carlos Takam. And part of the reason for my rationale for thinking they were the names that were most likely were they were smaller fighters than Usyk. Carlos Takam 6'1", Oleksandr Usyk 6'3", but they were towards the tail end of their career that had good careers, good name recognition. They'd been in heavyweight title fights in recent years, acquitted themselves well, and this was a fight where Oleksandr Usyk could actually go in there, look good, and get some credit for beating either Povetkin or Takam. And as it turned out, Povetkin was almost the opponent, and they're still looking to potentially, if he beats Takam on May the 17th or 18th, whenever the fight is held, still looking to set that fight up for some point in 2019. And for Takam, he is at a point in his career where he is well and truly on the slide now, and we saw that in the fight against Senad Gashi. He just couldn't handle the movement in those opening rounds when Gashi was sort of dragging him around the ring. Couldn't really cut it off, couldn't really get any effective work away, and I think that is going to be a sort of good sort of marker to help foreshadow what's going to happen in this fight with Usyk. Not that Senad Gashi is any great shakes, because he's not, but that performance against Gashi, it let me know that he was well and truly all of his 38 years old, and that he is certainly coming to the tail end of his career. He is on the slide. He is out of his prime now. He is on the way down. So in some respects, this Takam fight, it's a careful piece of matchmaking, but it's an opportunity for Usyk to look good. And you can bet that Oleksandr Usyk is going to give Carlos Takam a lot of looks, a lot of angles. He will be moving constantly. He won't be standing still and just trading with Carlos Takam as Gashi ended up doing. Oleksandr Usyk has demonstrated through the cruiserweight division, when he's fought some of these guys who are big punchers, like Murat Gassiev, that sort of stuff, that he's not just going to let you plant your feet and get off your work. He is going to be pumping that jab into your face, looking to set up shots, lay traps for you. He is going to move you around the ring. He's going to be constantly moving, and he is going to make it a really tough night for you. I don't think Carlos Takam has any shot of winning this fight beyond some sort of rogue punch landing. I think this is a case where Oleksandr Usyk will prove just to be too classy. The movement will be too much. In that Gashi fight, Carlos Takam looked all at sea in those early rounds. He didn't look good, looked all of his 38 years old. So I could see Oleksandr Usyk coming into this fight looking really good. And no doubt they've paid Carlos Takam a pretty penny for being basically the fall guy for this fight. I do like Carlos Takam. He's put up some very good fights over the years. The one against Povetkin about 5 years ago, had a very good fight with Joseph Parker. Put up a pretty decent display against Anthony Joshua, although he was ended up losing that fight rather convincingly. The scorecards sort of didn't reflect how competitive that fight was at times. You know, those sorts of fights where you can be competitive but still lose most, if not all, of the rounds. Whereas with Joseph Parker, that was a razor-edge sort of decision to Parker. But that's going back, 3 years now. The Joshua fight's a couple of years removed from that. The Povetkin fight, 5 years. And Carlos Takam has got a lot of miles on the clock now, so I'm not expecting him to actually come in and do anything that we haven't seen before. Carlos Takam is what he is. He's a very compact fighter. He will look to come forward, I think, try to pressure Usyk to some degree, but I don't think he'll have any real success. Usyk is just too good, and this is a good introduction, a good sort of hello to the heavyweight division for Oleksandr Usyk. I like the fight from his perspective and what he can do in there and how good he's probably going to look. It's almost, I do think it's pretty much a fait accompli. And I'm sure after this fight, a lot of people will be saying, well, actually, Carlos Takam, it may be time for him to retire, especially if Usyk ends up sort of embarrassing him to some extent. And there is a high likelihood there will be a bit of that in this fight. But, you know, he will be competitive. He'll come to fight. Carlos Takam never gives up, but I don't think he'll have enough. How about you? What do you make of this fight? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.